Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Welcome everybody. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar, and this is another episode of Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar.
We are back.
Today's date is... What's that? Oh, it's your phone. Well, you folks put on mute.
Oh,
this is
my son.
This is today's date is November the 16th, the year of our Lord 2024 AD, and I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. Been in practice for over 30 years, and this show is a medical, political show. We try to, I think really we started getting into the politics during Corona. The problem is we weren't allowed to talk about it at that time. So anyway, Jeremy, you ready to say hello to everyone?
Yeah.
So here we have Jeremy right here. So say hello,
How
Jeremy.
How you doing, guys? I'm sorry about that. That was my boyo.
Jerry, you got your cup there, yeah. So
yeah.
Jeremy, you want to say hello? And Jeremy we're going to have a new thing today. We're going to have Jeremy's Corner today.
Jeremy's Corner. We're going to talk about knitting and cribbage. It'll be lovely.
So yeah, well, we're on all platforms, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Jeremy, can you put up the thing? Say, please like and subscribe. It's all the way up there. So please like and subscribe us. And if you have, the ability to do that, we really appreciate it. And you got Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. Mm-hmm. And we're on Spotify, Apple Podcast. We're on
everywhere you can find a podcast. Right, Trust me, like YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere.
Where you want to go.
You type in Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar, you'll find us.
Right. So
if you want, by the way, if you want the visuals of our show, when we do go live, you're going to want to like our YouTube or our Facebook page, so you'll be notified whenever we go live on our streams.
Yeah, I love that. I do that. I subscribe to a lot of YouTube videos, and when they come up, it gives me a notification.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love it, and I also, I mean, it's just a great thing. I do that on Rumble, but mostly YouTube. So anyway, please like and subscribe. This way, if you subscribe, when we fire up, you get it automatically. Same thing with Instagram. A lot of people follow us on Instagram.
On YouTube, you click that little bell thing, and you press when current, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
Then you'll get us as soon as we go live, man. That's the best way.
All right, so let's go to the whiteboard, Jeremy. We're using the whiteboard now. So right there. So we have a whiteboard here, and we're going to talk about.
Yeah, but don't you think a whiteboard is a little racist, Mike?
No. Well,
sure?
We use black lettering, so it's
okay.
It's biracial. So we're gonna. I think we got a lot of things to talk about today, but one of the things I want to talk about is deportation. In fact, I'll be more specific. Trump's mass deportation. And I'll even go further. It's majority of the United States wants deportations. And deportations happened under Clinton, Barack Obama, George W. Bush. It's happened. So it's nothing new. Hang on 1 second. But here's the thing, Jeremy. What I wanted to say about it is if you look at the whiteboard here, I have deportation. And my question is when, how, and where. These are going to be the things that you have to really when, where, and how. And we have these states that are pushing back right now. New Jersey, we're going to talk about this article right here. New Jersey prepares to defend against Trump's mass deportation. Illinois, the governor, I think his name is Pritzker, he is basically saying no way, no how. I don't know what exactly the specifics what they're going to argue about, but the United States gave a mandate. I mean, the people of the United States gave a mandate, and part of that mandate is mass deportation. Okay, what do you want to say?
It's all good and well for the states to say, hey, no way, but there's no way the states can regulate where those illegal immigrants are going to go. What if? All right, so say I'm the governor of Illinois, and I don't want I don't want any part of this. Well, you can't control the people that are loose in your state. They can leave to go to other states. So what are you actually controlling? Nothing.
No, they're gonna
except by saying no, we don't want to participate.
No, they could. Number one, what they could do is try to stop the ICE agents from doing their jobs, not helping them, not having the local law enforcement help them, and also, saying don't come in our state. I don't know if they're going to physically do it. I'm going to make a point here.
You know what? If that's the case, I so see it as a possibility that Trump will find states who don't comply. I think that
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, if he's trying to build up our borders and sort of take the 3 million people that came into our country illegally.
20 million.
20 million. Jesus Christ. All right, so 20 million, get them out, okay? It's not going to be pretty. I mean, that we have to know right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly, and there's going to be people crying and screaming over it. It's no clean task, okay?
Yeah.
But it's, these people don't belong here. And as soon as we take responsibility for them, that's it. They're ours.
Well,
and we can't do that. I can't take responsibility for everyone in the world who is living in strife or heartache. I mean, I got my own strife and heartache. You can't be expected to have show these emotions for absolutely everyone. Everyone's got ups and downs. So do these people. And unfortunately, because they did not come into our country legally, this is going to be one of the downs they're going to have to go through.
Right. Well, and it gets more complicated because when you say legally and not legally, there's allegations that this administration now, who's in power now, has brought people in here illegally, but they say it's legal. I mean, they were putting them on. They have an app that you could apply to in Mexico. Fly into Chicago. They'll fly you in. They'll give you some paperwork saying that it's okay to be in here. So so it's hard to criticize those people. I mean, the people who came here. But you make a good point. They were brought in here illegally, either by themselves being illegally brought in here, or by the government. But let's.
No, I don't care what administration was involved in doing this. The fact of the matter is now where we are this second, we know what was right and what was wrong, and now we're eager to fix the wrong so we can make everything right.
Go to my iPad, Jeremy, for a minute. I want to show you. So this is one article that we have here. So for people on the Spotify, you could, you want to go look at the YouTube. So here it is. It says, this is breaking news inside New Jersey. So this is local New Jersey news. This was November 15th, yesterday. It says, New Jersey prepares to defend against Trump's mass deportation agenda. Now, this is by a author, John Van Vilt. And so if you read here, it goes on and on here about, talking about Project 2025, and Fox News, and how many people there. They says there are believed to be approximately 475,000 undocumented immigrants living in New Jersey as of last year. I don't know how, whether or not, and it says in the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy said 6 states raised more than $1 billion each in tax revenue from undocumented. So the argument is, they're putting a lot of money in here. And but what they don't say is how much. First of all, I don't know how much taxes they are paying. I don't know how they know that. And there's probably more than that people in the state. But But also, they don't talk about the state spent about $7.5 billion on illegal immigrants in welfare, in Medicaid for medicine. All right, the schools, you have to deal with it. Housing, there was one where a woman came in here. She was put on a plane with 100 other people. They were in Texas, and Governor Abbott sent them in a plane to Chicago. When they landed in Chicago, they had the news reporters there, and this one woman had to be taken to the hospital. She had some seizures, and the way the news was, and again, I don't know how accurate this is, but I was watching it, and she was, through an interpreter, was saying that she had tumors in her brain. She had seizures. seizures, and she was concerned about her 3 kids, one of them who has leukemia. Now, let's just say she came from Mexico. I don't know where they have hospitals there. They could take care of these people. It's one thing when you have maybe a couple thousand, or whatever it is, a million people come into this country legally. They're processed, and whether or not we take sick people, we could to a certain degree, but not when you have millions and millions. It's way more than that, Jeremy. 15 million. Yeah. The numbers are astronomical. I just cited a study that last show we did. 36% increase in tuberculosis in the United States. Think about that. Tuberculosis could kill you. It's a shitty disease to get. It's passed by coughing and sneezing. All right, you got to take medication for months and months. In New York City, 86% of the cases of tuberculosis are in what group of people? Immigrants. Illegal, just recent immigrants. You understand that? So you're going to go up to New York City and go see a show. Maybe you should be wearing a mask in 6 foot distance. Somebody's coughing. How many people? City, and I give you another one, Haiti, which Haiti's in the news. They're eating the cats. Remember that? Well, 60 in Haiti is a 60% increase. Oh no, 60% more percentage of people in Haiti have tuberculosis. Yeah. AIDS is another thing. So you have to be. So this is what we're putting up. So now, so New Jersey is going to fight against it. And this article here, if you guys want to read it, it's.
Can you see that picture there? Okay.
Up top here.
Yeah, right here. This top picture. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the reporter. I show up. Okay. If there was not a better picture than this is all the people that were there, right there. Look
yeah. How many people care?
Because otherwise, if there was a bigger massed group, that's what the picture would have been as. That was just a small little part of the beach.
Right, you can go back to me, Jeremy, please.
And that's that. Well,
here's what I have to say about it. And I was thinking about this, and you made a good point. We can only take so much so long. Yeah. I don't know why the Democratic Socialist Communists let all these people in. I don't know if it's incompetence. I don't know. There's a lot of NGOs which are nonprofit organizations that help these people come in. A lot of them are Christian, and they truly want to help people. Mm. But you can't. What's the old saying? You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. We can only handle so much, and they're clogging the hospitals. I can see that in New Jersey. The schools, and then the crime. Here's the thing, Jeremy. I remember Barack Obama was in office, right? I had patients who I would see in the emergency room. Nice people. I'm not saying they're not nice people. And one guy who's probably in his 50s, no insurance, so I didn't get paid. People think doctors are all. I've treated thousands of people for free because when you're on call, you take the good with the bad. And if there's no pay, he was a really nice man, and we were trying to. He had a bad infection, and I operated on him. But he needed to be on insulin. And the nurse told me, Dr. Kachmar, I can't get him to understand how to use insulin for several reasons. One, he doesn't read or write English. He doesn't read or write Spanish. He's illiterate, and he got a 3rd grade education. What do you do with these people? So you have a guy who came in here who's 42 years old, 3rd grade education, cannot read or write wherever country he came from. Yeah, how many of these people?
If there's no room or placement for him, no, really, no. If there's no placement for him in his country, what makes you think there's going to be a placement for him here?
That's where you make a. That's where I think that your argument is not well. No, well, I think there is room there. I think that they don't want him though, because why would you? They get rid of him. Let him go to the United States, because then they don't have to raise taxes on people. Listen. There's a lot. You go to Mexico. There's plenty of wealthy people there. Yeah. Not everybody from Mexico wants to go up to the United States. They got it made down there. My point is that this is what happens. You have, I have no problem with a woman who has brain tumors and children that have leukemia. We're all, what do you call it? We're all very conscious about that. But you can't have so many
This is all right. Listen. So it's still early days, all right? So, a lot of what we plan on doing, the little itsy-bitsy teeny parts that actually make this easier transition of deporting these people, right? One, as if I was President Trump, I would have the opposite border build up a triage area for these people as they're being returned back to their country. Okay, so then they are being taken care of as they cross back over the border. All right, so the responsibility is being put into the original hands of,
It'll be done humanely.
it'll be done humanely. But all you liberals, all you Democrats, everything, you're going to argue that this is going to be ugly and it's a horrible thing. And you're not wrong. It's going to be ugly. But that's the position we've been put in. We have to do this to bring back our America. That's the only way we can do this.
Right. So I want to go. We're going to talk about why, what some of these problems. I want to give you about these immigrants, because it's not. I don't think anybody's going to argue get rid of all the illegal, the ones who are criminals and the ones who have been committed, have been.
Well, I'll tell you, the rape victims aren't going to be arguing for them. Right.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing. I want to talk about the politics of this. So you have several states now that are saying we're going to resist any kind of deportation. Now, I don't know what they mean by that, but here's the thing. I was watching the governor of Illinois. He was on the internet, and he was going off that he's not going to allow anybody to, the federal government to come in and take anybody out of his state. They're going to make the decision who, where, when, and how. Okay, on our board here, they're going to make the decision. This is what they're, in the way I'm understanding it, on deportation. They're going to say when, how, and where. They're going to say it. They're going to take the agenda. Now, I remember back in the 60s, and if people go back and look at we had segregation. So the South was segregated. You had black schools and you had white schools. You had black fountains for water, drinking. You had white. You in a restaurant, blacks sat in the back. The bus, the whole thing, the back of the bus. Okay,
Rosa Parks.
Right. So Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy, which is Kennedy, who is now with Trump. That's his father and uncle. They said, no, we're going to decide when, where, and how. We're going to decide when, how, and where, whatever you want to say it. And they sent federal troops, not the National Guard. They sent federal troops. I might be wrong on this, but I'm almost positive. And with bayonets and guns. And they escorted those little girls and boys, black little boys and girls, into a school. Okay, into the school. Now, there was a lot of people in this country who didn't want that. They wanted segregation. But the majority of the people voted for Kennedy and voted for that, to end segregation. Okay, the American public, and so the American public, the vast majority, vast majority, knew about what Trump and about deportation is about, and they don't want it. There's a mandate, and he took the Senate, the House, and he won the popular vote. Why does the states then, no, we're not going to do this? Why, New Jersey, the governor, and the governor of Illinois, well, they say, hey, listen, we're going to work with these. We want it to be humane. We understand there's a mandate, but no, they're going to fight now. So now you got the battleground. And I think this is going to be a big battleground with the left. Fighting this deportation. They're going to fight back. They're going to maybe that's the hill they're going to die on. So I want to ask you this, Jeremy, because you have good insight. So here's I'm going to throw it to you. So the woman who came here, let's just say for the premise, illegal. She was illegal. She came over the border. The cartels brought her in here, right? She's illiterate. She's maybe 25 years old. Let's say 23 years old. Has 3 kids, very young. One has leukemia, and she has benign tumors in her brain. She has seizure disorders, and now she is sent up to Chicago. So she's brought in here by the cartels. I feel bad for these people. They're like pawns. Then the governor of Texas puts her on a plane, sends her to Chicago with 100 other people. Now she lands in Chicago. What do you do with that? And think about it, I just told you. So the federal government brought her in here. The cartels made money muling her in here, trafficking her. Yeah. And the governor now of one state sends it to another state. They're like hot potatoes. Now, what are you going to do? And I know your heart's pulling at this because you're a good guy. But multiply that, Jeremy, man, multiply that by 5 million.
Yeah.
What do you do?
5 million.
5 million. I'm just saying,
Well,
what do you do? Go ahead, Jeremy.
If this 5 million, it depends upon how many are coming over and at what speed they're crossing back over and all of that.
3 years, 20 million.
All right. So
that's your premise. That's your equation.
I mean, all we can have is the basic of medical help to give them as they're crossing back over. And that's it. And then once that's done, once they're back in their own country, if Trump talks to their leaders and tells them they have to have like a station there where there's a triage and all of that, like I said, right? Then these people can continue their treatment over in their country, and there you go. But see, it's like the old.
But you're for deporting her, though. You're okay with that?
Mike, you make one exception, you're making 6 million.
Yes, I agree with you. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So,
and there's this old saying. It's a bit morbid, but understand the meaning of it. If you've collected this season's Thanksgiving turkey, right, and it's alive and it's in a pen in the backyard, you don't name it, right? As soon as you name it, there's an emotional attachment, right, and you can't kill it. Right. You can't do what needs to be done.
Right. Well, here's the thing. So you can't. It's impacting. So what do you say? What is it impacting? It impacts a lot. There's going to be what I would recommend. I think. Or I hear this guy, the czar. They could leave now on their own own volition. This is not a bad idea. Think about it. They're putting this out now. They're saying, listen, go home, all leave. Maybe they'll give them free transportation, and this way, go home and then apply.
Yeah.
You were here. You were in Chicago. Apply. We'll give you first shot. And if you got to contribute to society. It's interesting too because like my grandfather came. He's an immigrant. Came from Ukraine, in Russia, Ukraine, that area. Yeah. He had a job waiting for him in Pennsylvania, working the refineries. Him and his brother. Right after he left Russia, Stalin was killing all his family. They weren't Jews. They were kulaks. They were peasant farmers. But they came here. They had a job. They didn't speak any English. When my grandfather died, he owned 2 houses. Every one of his kids graduated high school, which was,
something then. Yeah.
Of course, my dad went, then
Dad, a lot of kids didn't go through high school back then.
Well, in Europe, you didn't go to school. I mean, it was pretty shaky. They were peasant farmers. But my point is, so anyway, so I'm all about it, but you can't have what you have now, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be, but here's already the states are going to make it even tougher because they're going to push back.
But see, I also see if that's the case, then I also see President-elect Trump adding more, giving our border czar more, powers to make his job doable.
Well, they'll bring in federal troops.
If the states, if at any time the states start throwing up barricades,
they'll bring federal troops.
Yeah,
that's what could happen. That's what has happened in the past.
But it's the states that will be causing that. They know.
Yes.
They know what the outcome of their actions are going to be.
Right.
So in the end, are you thinking about your people, your civilians in your state, or are you thinking about most of these people that are in tent cities around your state?
I don't know what they're thinking about, but all I could tell them is I would recommend that they look back in history. Yeah. And this is very similar, different circumstances. It mirrors it to a certain degree. What happened in Selma, Alabama, when they brought the troops down. Now, having said that, I had a friend of mine I sail with. He's a really nice guy, and we sailed together. And we were talking about this during the summer, and we were talking about illegals, and he goes, well, how do they impact, the New Jersey? I said, well, first of all, they get a cell phone from the federal government. They get a stipend of money. But in New Jersey, gives them housing and gives them medical care. Now, it wasn't always like that. This medical care stuff just came out not too long ago. And some places want to have them to vote. But and I understand where the humanity comes. They're in here illegally, and they got an ulcer, they got cancer. You got something you cannot. In this, here's the thing: the law in the United States, you cannot be turned away at an emergency room. Okay, so if I'm running an emergency room in the United States and you walk in, I don't give a shit if you're illegal or not. If you got a broken leg with the bone sticking out, we're going to treat it. Now, whether or not it has nothing to do with Hippocratic Oath.
No?
It's law. No, fuck that. There is no. That's bullshit. No, don't even. Doctors aren't that. It's the law. That's what it is. You don't worry. There's no doctor's got some Hippocratic Oath. Trust me, if the law wasn't there, they wouldn't do it.
All right. Don't blame me. Blame Doogie Howser.
No,
okay?
I'm just saying, that's bullshit. That's TV shit. It's because the law.
Okay.
All right. You got it. You can't throw. There's signs all over the place. You can't discriminate. You can't because if you got to remember back in the day, Jeremy, if you walked into a white hospital and you were black, they kick you out. So you can't do that. No. But anyway, let me make my point though. Before hold that thought, write it down. Okay. What I'm saying is that the people are getting care. Now, I know it's humane, but now it's clogging up the hospital systems. Who's going to pay the hospital and the doctor? And so then they're scrambling to get this Medicaid, which is interesting because now, once you get funding, a lot of these doctors, the hospitals, they may want it if they get paid good money and it becomes a business, but you can't do that. So what's going to, because people who don't have insurance or are struggling, they're not getting the care either. So it's clogging up the systems. They are getting care. And New Jersey's spending billions of dollars on the care for these people. And that's where it runs into a real problem. You can't do it. Just can't do it. What were you going to say? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. I was going to say that, it just how ugly the situation is that...
that's your boy Biden.
Yeah, well...
And the 81 million people who voted for him.
I worry about these people. I don't see them as they're not our enemies. They're just been misled, and they were led to our country under false hopes. And I just don't want to turn them from being pawns of their own country, thrown over the border to us, and then us considering them as pawns, throwing them back.
No.
I want to. These people cannot be dehumanized. We also have to get them out. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be put into account here as we're doing it. Like I said before, it's going to be ugly. The better we can make it look and feel,
right,
the better the American people are going to be with it.
Good.
Yeah.
So we recommend to the states, don't push back, help. And here's the other thing. Trump is going to, and his administration is going to probably threaten or persuade, I should say, financially, these countries where these people came from to take them back. They're not all from South America, by the way. They're from all over the world. But I would say that that's what needs to be done, and you have to put pressure. There's also a lot of stuff going on. We have these Venezuelan gangs. Venezuela is on right now. Supposedly, they're in a crisis because the last election, the sitting president was voted out, like 70-30, and he's refusing to give up power. If Venezuela became normalized, maybe people will go back there. Same thing with Haiti. Haiti is it's a total wild west right now, and maybe so there's a reason why these people are coming here too. So I'm just throwing.
Well, we had that Iranian doctor come to our office. Her name was what was her first name?
Yeah, don't use any names.
No, it's just her first name. Zakia. Her name was. She was this wonderful woman, young, and she was wearing pink scrub tops that she was drawing attention to because she's like, look at me.
They're not allowed to wear them in the country.
I said, oh yeah, because I'd only be able to see your eyes, right? Well, I mean, here she is seeing, but she's also telling me this night and day nightmare story about where she comes from as opposed to what our America looks like. So our citizens are walking around here right now with zero frame of reference of the everyday life of some of the people out there. some of those people, it will set you back 100 years, 200 years. That's how bad their lives are.
The people who come here?
Just in certain parts
Well, but you're making the argument for them.
world.
But you're making an argument for keeping them here then, because it's so bad to send them home.
No.
What's your point?
My
we
point,
should keep them here then?
My point is that she came over legally.
Okay.
And she's seeing the fresh rights that she has.
Right. Well, the people who
she's reveling in them. And this is what everybody who snuck in under the Biden administration's allowable sneak are missing out on. Just how free this country is. Because I'm sure most of them that are here, they still don't feel free.
Yeah. Well, do it the right way. That's a good point. I'll give you that one. So, having said that, this is the greatest country in the world, no doubt about it. And you need to come in here legally in the right way. I think that Trump is going to make it where these people will leave maybe voluntarily because they'll take their Medicare away from them, their medicine, their freebies, their welfare, and all of that. And they're going to have to leave because there's not going to be anything here for them. And
you think they'll make some sort of incentive to?
Yeah, I think they will. And I think they'll make incentives with the countries where they came from and said, listen, we'll put an embargo on you, or not embargo, a tariff. They'll do something. They'll do something. Right now.
Well, that's what I was saying about them setting up like a triage. We'll tariff the fuck out of them to make sure that they set that up.
So go back to, I want to show you, but this is why we got to get rid of a lot of these immigrants. So here, this is an article I want to talk about right now. This is out of Newsbreak. Oh, this is out of New York Post, excuse me. This is an article from New York Post 1 day ago. So it says, this has just happened in New York City, but this is endemic. This has been going on for years now. And New York City is like the epicenter of just total friggin' ridiculousness. It's a migrant with a loaded AR-15 and, suspected Mexican cartel member freed from jail after allegedly assaulting a New York Police Department police officer. Okay? Mm-hmm. The Big Apple migrant, armed with a loaded AR-15 assault rifle, and his Mexican cartel pal are both back on the streets, despite allegedly ganging up on a NYPD cop at a Bronx subway station. Abraham, I can't even, Sosa, 20, a migrant living above a Bronx daycare center, right? A daycare center. Was hit with assault, gun possession, resisting arrest, trespassing. Charges have been nabbed, urinating in a subway tunnel November 5th, while lugging the assault weapon in his backpack, according to the sources and records. So here, let's just put this in perspective, okay? You got this piece of shit who came to this country legally. He's living above a day center with friggin' weapons. He obviously doesn't have a license.
Just downstairs and other people's kids.
And he's urinating in public, like he can't,
Probably off the balcony as the kids are leaving the daycare.
No, this was in a subway. He urinated in the subway. You got to read it. So his pal, 21.
Well, if you're going to urinate there, you'll urinate anywhere.
His pal, 21-year-old Christopher Mayran, allegedly jumped onto the fray when Sosa got into a scuffle with the New York City's finest, leaving 2 cops injured, according to the criminal complaint. You know what? I couldn't even imagine myself fighting a cop. It's just the disrespect. So my father would have kicked my ass if I did that. Yet both thugs, listen, are free. Sosa, after posting a $25,000 bond, and Maureen released without bail. First of all, are you kidding me? Where did he get the 20?
Who's going to cover a bond like that for these? They're clearly
they had their own money.
Risks.
No, well, they're mixing in cartel.
They had their own money? Yeah.
Sources said at a tattoo on his arm linked him to a vicious drug cartel. They're making tons of money.
Well, shame on the judge for not making that bail way higher.
So it says, this is crazy. One frustrated Bronx detective told the Post Thursday. You have a member of a Mexican cartel running around. That tattoo is a billboard for I am a criminal. I don't care about your laws. Can I get more dangerous than riding a subway with a loaded rifle? And when he's not on the train, he's upstairs from a little children in a daycare center. This is what we have. It is, and they don't even know if he's illegal. He's an immigrant. O'Hare says, according to police, the melee unfolded after Soto scrolled past a no trespassing sign at the Kingsbridge Road B&D train station. So he was trespassing too. What a scumbag. So here's a complete disregard for our laws. Gun laws. No, but in the meantime, if I go up to New York City and I have a handgun in my possession without a carrying permit, and even if I have a carrying permit, to protect myself from these scumbags, I'll get locked up. But this guy, he's gone free. And then, you know what it is? He's not from this country. They could just take off and go back to wherever they are. They'll never even go to the court case. You go back to me, Jeremy.
Change his name like that, and he's gone in the wind.
So why? We got to get rid of these people. Now, let's go. I got one more here. Let's go back. I'm sorry. I should have go back one more time. I got another article here.
Honestly, with this whole deportation thing, it
couldn't happen faster for me.
The benefits will outweigh.
Yes.
Yeah, the loss.
Yes.
Yeah, trust me.
Yes. So here's another one here. Venezuelan gang Tren Al How do you pronounce that, Jeremy? You got better. It's Trendy.
Trendy Aragua.
In every major city of Tennessee. How do you like that? Violent Venezuelan gang has been making headlines due to the growing presence in the United States, with recent incidents linked to gang ranging from apartment shootouts in Aurora, kidnapping, murder. It goes on and on and on. We just said urinating in public, carrying weapons. What are they got to carry an AR-15 for? Where are they going with that? And it goes on and on here that Tennessee, I guess Tennessee, they sent a lot of these Venezuelan gangs into Tennessee, dropped them in there,
Because Mike, you know what? This is the test of time now. Okay,
right.
With all of these states that are saying, "No, I refuse to follow this the president's wishes." Eventually they're going to have their own citizens raped and murdered to a level where they're going to be like, "All right, let's get rid of them. Come on, now you were right, we were wrong." That's what it is. You want to puff your chest out like you're doing some humane thing. You're not, man. You're just causing these people more grief in the long run. So let's get them home.
So it says here, these gang members are back in all of the major cities. They are running human trafficking operations. That is where they start. And they have taken on a cartel head on.
Yeah, because when they crossed over, if you had a kid with you, you got in.
Go back to me.
You got in almost no questions asked if you had a kid on you. But was it your kid? You don't know. So, and what happened to that kid once they crossed the border?
Right.
You don't know. See, that is another part of it. When we look at this and we start piling up all the negative shit that's been brought into our country because of all of this, we can't, as sovereign citizens, look around and say, and do nothing. Well, we have to do something to change it.
You made a good point there, Jeremy, because here's another reason why you can't have these people in this country. These people are coming in here, you could say they're illegal or they're migrants, they're residents, but they're not citizens yet.
No.
And I recommend people read a book. It's by Victor Davis Hanson. It's called The Dying American Citizen. But we talked about what it means to be a citizen. It's not just a word. Being a citizen means that you are sovereign. What does that mean? That we run the government. Power comes from us. And we loan it to the local government, to the state government, to the federal government. So the people are the government. The people are the power, I should say. That's what a citizen is. Yeah. Well, you bring these people in here illegally without, you're bringing them in here, not through the process. They're breaking the law right off the bat. You're throwing on.
They used to have something called like a visa or something that they would have to carry with them, which would show you the amount of time they're allowed to stay in our country and when they need to leave.
Right.
These people that are out there have nothing of the sort.
No, and what you're doing, though, Jeremy, is watering down the premise, the idea of a citizen, and it's people don't understand that, but that's what happens when you have open borders. You won't have a country. So unfortunately, a lot of people are going to have to be deported. I think it should be done humanely. I think the state should back off. I think what's going to happen is if the left in this country, which is dying right now. I mean, the media. We're going to talk about that in a minute. What's going on? They're dying. People are so fed up. I think that these states who are talking, maybe like you said, it's just a virtue signaling, because I can tell you right now what's going to happen. Posturing. Yeah. What's going to happen is well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you what happened in the past.
Right.
The government sent federal troops down.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy sent federal troops down to, I think it was Selma, Alabama, escort those kids in. And that's what's going to happen here. Now, let's shift over now. I want to talk about something. Talk about the media and what's going on. You mentioned something about Beyonce getting $10 million.
That's what I got written down in my Jeremy corner.
Before you go with that, did you hear a thing with Whoopi Goldberg? She was on The View, which I tell you, that View and the people on that View are disgusting. Yeah, disgusting.
I got the View down here.
And I think that the American public are just fed up with their hate speech. Fed up with their gaslighting, their doublespeak, their untruth, their lies, their delusional propaganda. And so she picked the wrong battle. Supposedly, she said she didn't get donuts or cupcakes or something from, she didn't use the name of the place, but it was a place in Staten Island. And evidently had nothing to do with them not serving her or giving her stuff because of who she is or her politics. It happened to do, there's a boiler issue. And there's a big fury going on right now. They had the borough council came out. They had a news conference. The people who own the bakery. I think it's called Holman's. It's been there for 150 years. And they want an apology. And I want to make a point here. Or everybody who's on X.
Explain that. Explain that. And they want an apology for
the people who have the donut place.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg accused them of not serving her because of politics.
Oh, okay.
It had nothing to do with politics. Their boiler was broke or whatever, and they want an apology from her.
I'm surprised she didn't throw a little race card in there.
But let me make a point about everybody who's on the internet right now, who's on X and The View, and there's a lot of emotions going on. But let me tell you something. We're all for free speech, okay? Yeah. Free speech, as if you look at it, it's allowing people who you do not like to say things that you do not like. That's free speech. Yeah. It could be modified. Listen to me. Hang on now. It could be modified. Time, place, and manner. Time, place, and manner. But not content. But here's the big but. There's difference between free speech, slander, and libel. Okay? So I can't go and say, Jeremy, you're a rapist. You're convicted of rape. Like they're doing on the internet now, saying Trump is convicted of rape. He was never convicted of rape.
What
but that's slander.
That?
Listen, slander is not a criminal, but you're going to leave yourself open to civil lawsuit.
Yes.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, again, I'm not a lawyer, but it looks to me like if that's the case, there's Whoopi Goldberg slandered these people.
Yeah.
That's not free speech. And I'm telling everybody out there now, with Trump, and if Matt Gaetz gets into the Justice Department, I have no problem with free speech, but there's slander and libel. If you go out there and call people, say very damaging things that are not true, you're going to leave yourself open to civil lawsuit. You're not going to go to jail but you're going to get hammered. Money's going to be taken away from you. And I'm watching stuff on the internet right now, and people are slandering like really bad. The left is. I mean, they're saying things that are very, very bad. And so, again, I just want to point that out. It's, slander. Now, let's shoot over. You understand the difference? Slander and libel.
No, libel's written. Yeah. No.
Anyway, so I think you want to talk about Beyonce, your favorite actress. I mean, favorite entertainer.
God, I can't.
So tell me what. So fill me in on this. What happened?
So amongst the money that Kamala had, the billions of dollars.
Over billion. No, billion, I think she had a little over $1 billion, but
yeah.
Which is amazing. Where'd these freaking idiots? Oh, I was George Clooney and all those giving her money. But go ahead, we'll talk about that too.
Right.
Oh, listen, Newark Airport's all jammed up. They're all leaving. They're on planes right now, leaving. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So talk about this $10 million.
It's a curious thing, though. Like we were just talking about slander, and all of these celebrities are being paid cash on the barrelhead to purposely slander a running ex-president.
Well, did they slander? I don't know. I didn't listen to the speeches.
Oh, you know how they are. They
well,
say,
don't say that unless because then you're slandering them. If you accuse them of slander, you're slandering them now, Jeremy.
No. Look, Mark Hamill alone. Anytime any of them called them an idiot, that's slander.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that might be free
or
speech.
worse, or the female thing.
There are. Listen, I don't mean to give. There's definitions. There's definitions of slander. We're not lawyers. I don't know what the hell you know.
My point is that so all this money is raised,
right,
and much of it is given out to these celebrities. What's ridiculous is just the amount of money, and this goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that the people that are telling you to vote for this person or that person have this much money to just chuck away. Do you? No, you don't. So 10 million went to Beyonce for 3 minutes work. Wrap your mind around that. 3 minutes work for $10 million. Well, and she wasn't even that good. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Oprah Winfrey. I saw her last night. Wasn't that good.
Oprah Winfrey, her company, Harpo, whatever. She got $1 million. And she says, well, she didn't get it personally. Her company needed to get paid, though. Well, I'm saying, she's billionaire. I mean, Oprah's went how many billions? If they're so adamant and so into Harris and Biden, why don't they do it for free? I heard that, and it was a joke. It was Babylon B. I heard that Hulk Hogan, he appeared at the RNC convention.
Yes.
I heard they gave him 3 scratch-offs and a sub. That's
all that dude needs.
But look, it cracks me up. I want to know
because it's Trump. He wants to come out there and support.
How much I don't know, but did Bruce Springsteen get paid? Maybe he did it for free.
Springsteen,
Eminem.
And I gotta tell you,
what's that stallion? What's the one stallion? She got like $5 million.
Whatever they were paying Springsteen. Did you even hear him singing?
No.
Oh my God, it was so dreadful. He couldn't carry a tune in a bucket.
You know what I think this showed? How out of touch with reality these entertainers who are worth, Bruce Springsteen's worth about $500 million, $500 million. He doesn't fly in personal, he flies in personal jets. He doesn't have to go to Newark Airport like us. He doesn't have to wait in line. He doesn't have to worry about security. He's got bodyguards. But the one that I thought was really weird, there was a commercial he's a famous actor, and he basically says, make sure, we're going to personally come after you, Gary.
Right. Oh, you're talking about Will Ferrell.
Yeah. So I tell you what I'm going to say to all of these actors, Will Ferrell and Bruce Springsteen, who's an entertainer, De Niro.
Michael Keaton. Did you see that one? Oh, man. It was so perfectly done. Like from a marketing director's point of view. If I was trying to tell them how to, like he was, hey guys, these people, Trump, J.D. Vance, they're not your buddies. They're not your friends.
Right.
They don't care about you. But he was it sounded so sincere.
Right.
Of all of the paid endorsements, he earned his money.
Right. Well,
but again, it was still bullshit. It broke my heart because
So what are you going to do about it, Jeremy? What are you going to do about it? How does justice? Because they have free speech. How do you get justice out of this? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Tell me what you're going to do about it.
I think that celebrities should be unallowed to.
No, they can do what they want. No, that's free speech. No, I tell you what you do. And what I'm going to do. Tell you what I'm going to do.
It's not free speech.
Yes, it is.
It's paid speech.
No, it doesn't matter. It's still free.
Hold on a second.
No, it's paid, but it's
Let me just finish
you
this.
can't stop them.
Let me finish this thought. If I'm paid to go up there, okay, that's not my speech. I'm not even. I don't even believe.
But it's their free speech. It's Harris's free speech. It doesn't matter if you're paid or not.
I don't know.
No.
There's a bit of a hypocrisy there.
No.
Yeah,
no, I tell you what you do. It's easy. It's not. What I'm going to do is this. Any movie or song, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to let them get revenue from it. I'll never watch. Never say. But like any movie, like The Goodfellas, anything that De Niro's in, I'll never watch again.
Yeah, me too.
Anything Barbara Streisand. So here's the thing. I'm done. I tell you another guy. Like when we were getting thrown off the radio, when we were getting thrown off the internet, when Corona was going on, and Joe Rogan was talking about ivermectin. He was on Spotify, and Neil Young said, I want my stuff taken off Spotify if you don't get rid of Joe Rogan. What happened with free speech with that guy? That guy was a rebel back in the day. You know, the song Sweet Home Alabama talks about we don't even Neil Young. So my point is, on how you do this, American public, if 75 million people who voted for Trump don't listen to these people anymore, don't watch their movies, don't listen to their music, I could tell you right now, yeah, that's how you want to talk about justice. You can't stop their free speech, but you boycott them. Don't.
Young,
that's what you do.
I can remove him from my music listening regiment, and I wouldn't miss him. You know, there's certain things though, like Michael Keaton. I liked Michael Keaton.
Well, then you don't.
No,
you don't care enough then.
But no, I do care enough. I do care enough not to watch his movies. Like Tom Cruise, F him. I won't watch a single thing.
Was he for Harris?
I don't. Yeah. Well, obviously.
Or you just don't like him. No, you'll say it.
I don't like. No, I think
you just don't like him anyway.
I think he's I think he's complicit in a lot of weird shit with Scientology.
Well,
yes.
that's another. Whole.
But there's a slew of celebrities. That
but how
I don't care about them anymore.
No, I think
and
that
I don't think the American people care enough about them when they have these award shows. When was the last award show you gave a shit about?
No, I don't watch it at all.
Yeah.
No. I think it was interesting, where it was a really interesting thing was with Taylor Swift. And you could go back on my X account, because I talked about this 3-4 weeks, before.
The Swifties.
And so she endorsed, which is her right to endorse, Kamala Harris and Walsh. And she had 250, I think, million people on Instagram, whatever. And I said it on my post. I said, well, do you think that everybody's like, oh, it's going to change the election? I said, you think that every one of those people who listen to her music really buy into her politics? No. I mean, at the best, it's 50%, So
most of these are just younger girls, younger boys, or younger at heart.
No, adults. I don't know her demographic. It doesn't matter though. But it doesn't matter. It could be
really
old.
The lovelorn.
Right. But that has nothing to do. The point is, they're people, and people have different opinions.
They're people. They're voters.
But I go. What I want to say to people, and I did in my my post, is that people like Taylor Swift and Bruce Springsteen and a lot of these, Beyonce, they live in they're very talented people. And they may be the greatest people in the world. They may be very good people, at home and, family, husband, wives, whatever. But they live in a bubble. They don't know. I mean, Taylor Swift has her private plane. She have to wait in the airport. I flew down to Florida. I mean, I couldn't even get out of the seat to go to the bathroom. I mean, it was like so tight. You got to wait in the airport. I go outside. I mean, I don't have a bodyguard. Somebody could beat me up. I mean, we have to work, and they.
She's got a bed on her plane that she can roll over twice and not fall off of it.
Right. And why? So I tell people, why would you listen to these people? They have nothing in common with you. They live in a bubble, and you could see now how out of touch, because I was watching the debates with Trump and Harris. I'm watching the country. We'd lived it the past 4 years. And I got to the point where I thought it was going to be close, but the last 2-3 weeks, I knew Trump was going to win. Yeah. I didn't think he was going to win in a landslide. I was hoping he gets the popular vote, because if he didn't, they'd be going crazy. But you could see, and there was some tells too. One of the things is when Zuckerberg and Bezos went on the internet and basically said, we're not going to support anybody. And I said to myself, whoa, because they run Google and Facebook, so they have access to all of the tweets that are going out, they analytics, and they probably have analytics showing that the majority of people are going to vote for Trump, because they've been saying it on the internet. Like, you call your buddy on the phone, hey, I'm going to vote for Trump, and they probably could figure that all out with the algorithms and the AI and everything. You understand? So they probably, because that's why they came out and go, man, we better start kissing the ring now, and. So,
well, it's just like,
but my point.
It's just like that stuff. Like when you're surfing through the internet,
right?
And then tomorrow you're going through your Facebook and you're seeing like stuff that you looked at recently in ads popping up all over.
Right.
They know what you're doing.
Right. But my point is, Jeremy, I would not, for all the tea in China, go on TV, if I was one of those big celebrities, if I was watching what I'm watching, and put my neck out that far. It wasn't, and the Lincoln Project, which is on X, oh, he's going to lose, I mean, the night before, these people live in a what do you call it? La la land, delusional. They're delusional. I mean, their propaganda was propaganda. It started going into delusional propaganda. Yeah. I mean, it morphed. I mean, it definitely went over there. And, this thing called doublespeak, which is George Orwell, kind of Orwellian stuff. And then when I also...
they're the masters of it,
also, the other thing...
doublespeak?
Yeah.
But, they're the frickin' masters of it.
But the other thing, too, is I'm watching Trump, and he's talking about going over the aisle. He brought Tulsi Gabbard in. She was a Democrat.
I love her.
They were going to make her head of the DNC.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, but he wasn't a Democrat. But
he's been brought into the fold.
No, but I'm talking about reaching over to the other side. Yeah, but I'm talking about reaching over to the other side.
Tulsi,
she was a Democrat, hard ass.
Yeah, she was, but in recent years she switched.
But the point is, though, Trump reached over. Who did Harris bring over? Oh, she got Cheney, and that's good luck on that one. And then also. Robert Kennedy Jr., who was a Democrat. And I saw that, and I saw Elon Musk, which was the young kids. I said, that's a coalition. He formed a coalition, and he promised to have JFK in the government. He's making him Secretary of HHS, Health Human Services. That's powerful, big position. I thought he was just going to throw him a bone. He did more than that. He did more than that.
That'd be great. I mean, if anybody who's read his book,
The Real Dr. Fauci.
The Real Dr. Fauci, you'll realize he is in the perfect position that they placed him in. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And so you go down and like Matt Gaetz, but see how they're attacking him. He's a pedophile, or no, not. He's a sexual. I guess there's an allegation he had sex with a 17-year-old girl. But the point is that I think these are all going to go through now. Do I know 100%? Would I get on TV? Well, I am on TV. But what I think is that we took the Senate, too. People don't realize. I don't think everything's sunk in. We have the House.
We have. Well, hold on. Let's say that with a little bit more gravitas, because that was my big worry. We have the House.
Well, the Republicans, right. So you have 2018.
We have the Senate.
Right. Well, the Senate's big. See, all of these confirmations have to go through the Senate.
Yeah.
Right. That's where it's all happening. So the Senate, that's the way the government works. And I think that the Senate is going to have a hard time refusing Trump, unless these people have such, background that's so bad. And they're gonna look right now. The Democratic Socialist Party is looking into all of these people's background, trying to get as much dirt as they can. But it's an interesting thing. How much dirt is dirt, And what time we get ready to go soon?
2 minutes to the hour.
Okay. So, you wonder how much, dirt they're going to find. But anyway, getting back to what we were saying is that there's these entertainers who got paid. That's just another really sad thing. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm trying to understand in my mind why they did all of this. But I think it's almost, to me, again, we talk about conspiracy, but it almost looks like to me the fix was in. Let's just say that maybe, I saw Trump. He had Rubio. Rubio is hooked up with the military. He's on the, and he had Pompeo, which he kicked to the side. But I think maybe after Trump got shot, right, and that, who knows who shot him, whether or not that was government or not. People say it was a very just circumstances. Well, sure, it could be, and I don't know for sure, but maybe there was a faction in the government. I grew up on Mission Impossible, the old movie, the old Mission Impossibles, not the movie. And the government did all kinds of things. We killed people all around the world. We assassinated people. So maybe it was a fraction. Maybe there was a fraction in the CIA that went after Trump. A rogue fraction. I mean, go look at the movie called 3 Nights of the Condor.
Oh yeah, I know.
Where it's the CIA. There was a rogue mission. Anyway, maybe there was a fight or a what's the word I want to use? A battle in the government, in the military,
in-house battle,
in the military, CIA, because they were going after Trump. I mean, there's people out there now who went after Trump. They were, heavy duty. What do you call it? Military and spies. What's the one I would say, Jeremy? CIA, FBI. Well, those people now, right? Had a reason. I tried to look and say, okay, Trump was really bad. All the things they were saying. Just say, continue it. Just say continue live. Just say continue. Yeah, right there. Hit that. Yeah, sorry. So I'm wondering. My thought is that they tried to knock him out. It didn't work because that was a pivoted time. Don't forget they tried to assassinate him. That was he missed for the grace of God.
Oh yeah.
So you got to put that in perspective. People forget about it. They missed for the grace of God. An AR-15 at 140 yards, it's an easy shot.
It's nothing.
Nothing. I mean, it's amazing. And I think he got 3 shots off. I don't know. And with 3 shots,
like butter.
Yeah, like butter.
Yeah.
So having said that, maybe it was done, and then the powers say, "Listen, Trump's going to be the president. You guys went too far, or the battle's over," because now. Because think about
listen, when he got shot, he's down on the ground, and there's only a couple of seconds really here to spare in thought, and so you're going through the shock of what just happened because this hit your head, okay, and you don't know how badly you're injured, but your first instinct is to get back on your feet, stop your Secret Service. And throw your fist up in the air in defiance.
Yeah.
That made him president.
Yeah, right. Well, here's the thing.
But it also showed he was always president.
Right. But what I'm saying, Jeremy, is a little bit more sinister than that. What I'm saying is that after that happened, the powers be, if they're, the people who own the color blue, the people who own, the air, I mean, I'm being facetious, but, that those people who have the power, if there is such an entity out there,
they did make him a living martyr.
No, but listen to me. I think what happened there is that if I always think about when I look at an opponent, I say, what would I do if I was in their position? Like, let's just say you want to lose to Trump. What would you do? You wanted to lose to Trump.
I'd be Hillary.
No, I would if I wanted to lose. Well, that's one. But I would put Kamala Harris. Who did very, very poorly.
Give her only 2 months.
No.
To really prepare.
Right, and give her that guy Walz, who is on his way. I mean, he's done with his governor.
He's a paperweight.
I mean, and he's a weird guy. I'm like, so he's not. I would have put. I could. They could have put, say, Josh Shapiro and Michelle Obama. That would have been a ticket.
But that's all we needed. If I was
but you understand
the Democratic side. And we get Joe Waltz. We needed somebody a little bit more.
But my point is the fix was in. If I'm making a point here, the fix was in.
Go ahead.
So they put these 2 people. They're doomed to fail. I mean, it was almost.
So you think they put them out on the chopping block?
Yeah, I think there was a deal made after he got shot. The people who tried to shoot him, missed.
If she got
missed.
in,
no.
Good luck.
And they got those guys. They killed them. They're gone. I'm just being a conspiracy. I'm just making. After watching movies like 3 Days of the Condor or Good Shepherd, I think about all that stuff that went on. So it could have been.
You guys think
it's almost. But you see what I'm saying? It's almost like. So it's almost like they wanted to fail. Now that's why I'm saying too. Now, I think whatever he's going to do, the mandates that he's going to put out and these picks, we'll see how easy they go through. There may not be, in these states, they may not bitch that much. They may capitulate. We'll see, because I don't know. I feel a different vibe.
There's so much that needs to happen.
I know, but I almost feel like there's a different vibe that it's going to go through. We'll see. We'll see what these people who they if they get in. But you understand what I'm saying, Jeremy? I mean, this is just speculation.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
But I could write it. This is going to be an unbelievable movie sometime.
Right.
The movie Trump. I mean, talk about the movie. I mean, it's not going to happen. It has to. It's probably not going to be for another.
If he wrote a biography over just the last 8 years, right? Like the coming for.
No. The movie will be
No, it wouldn't be 8 years. It'd be more than 8 years.
no. When he started
4 and 4.
If you-
when he was in the last time.
You know what? If you go on the internet right now,
Yeah.
there's Trump. There's little segments of Trump, all going back. David Letterman show.
Oh, yeah.
With Oprah
I've been
Winfrey.
watching them. I've been watching them.
I mean, there's people.
And some of the policies he said on Oprah Winfrey in 1988
Yeah.
are the very
Yeah,
same
yeah,
beliefs
yeah,
he has
yeah,
today.
Yeah.
They have not changed.
I remember when Trump was with his casinos down in Atlantic City,
Now,
Jeremy.
Now, before you go
What-
on,
what?
now you watch the video same year.
Right.
All right, 1988. You watch the videos of Joe Biden, okay? Your jaw will effing drop. You watch the ones of Donald Trump, who didn't even have an intention of running, but was asked if you ever did. And he says, well, it's not in my future, I don't think, but if I was left with no other recourse, this is what I do. And that's it's exactly what he's saying today. The dude is not phony because how can you be phony since 1988?
It looks to me like Joe Biden is happy that Trump got in.
Joe was just a liar. He had to admit that he was a liar. Watch the 88 Joe Biden footage, man. You'll
right.
Yeah.
So when Trump was when he was down in Atlantic City and he was really building his empire down there, he had a helicopter full of his top executives, and it crashed in the Parkway, killed them all. And Trump wanted to have an investigation, and he thought that it was industrial sabotage. Yeah. And people don't remember that one, but I do, because I had some friends who were state troopers, and they were asking me some questions about, one of the guys, his legs and feet were torn off, and they were trying to find it. And I said, well, the animals probably ate it. But, the thing about that is that, Trump is a phenomenon that is just, he's bigger than life now. They created a more, if they, the other thing too is, it's funny, if they let him alone after, he lost, and, didn't go after him, didn't do any of this, I wonder if he would have became president. Maybe he just would have, faded into obscurity. Maybe DeSantis would have taken over, or so it's pretty funny. But they made him too. So they actually, they're almost addicted to Trump. And I think they're happy too, because I think the media is done. I think the legacy media is done.
Well, I think they're happy because Trump is going to be taking apart a lot of things over these next 4 years. Okay, media, watch out. Okay.
Well, media's dead. No,
I know, but he's still going to sweep the rest of it under the carpet.
Well, he's not. He can't. He's not going to get rid of free speech, Jeremy. What he'll do?
No, I'm not saying speech. Right. I'm saying reestablish the freedom of
speech, free speech.
No, not the media. The news. They have a journalistic right to.
Well,
anyway,
DeMarco Bear. What's going to happen right now is a couple things are going to change now, or are going to change. Number one is the next, for politicians now, for them to get any traction, they're not going to be able to sit in their little houses in their basements. They're going to have to go on long format podcast.
Freedom of press. Okay, but. With the freedom of press, there used to be what we would call journalistic integrity. Okay, that dissolved.
Right, but it's going to. But you know where it's resurfacing in these long format podcasts.
Well, this was only one small thing I was touching on. The rest of it is, we have 4 long years of him putting things into place. So by the time when he's ready to leave, this country is going to be the best it's ever been, handing off to hopefully right-wing people in the.
Well, don't say right-wing. What you should say is that they're going to we're going to go back to the Constitution.
Conservatives,
but I tell you what has happened. But I can tell you right now, like I said, podcasts like Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan, these people have millions and millions of people. And if you want to become in government, become a politician, and have a chance, I think you're going to have to go on to these long format. That's the way things are going. Whether or not you even have debates. So I think debate's okay, but you're going to change. The other thing is like you said, with the wars, in our position on becoming nation builders. Remember with Bush and I think now we're going to push through that. There's going to be a lot of fundamental changes. This is not just business as normal. If Trump gets what he wants, the people that he wants in like say the military, in the government, there's going to be a lot of people. Justice is going to be rendered. I don't know if they're going to go to jail, but they're going to lose their pensions. They're going to lose their jobs. Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about, 1 million people could be walking out of their jobs. I mean, fired in the bureaucracy, which is in the executive branch. That's a lot of people. I mean, that's big. That's real big.
It's cleaning out the house.
I mean, it'd be interesting if it's going to happen. And there's going to be battles there. So I'm optimistic in that the American people rejected. You know what this vote, which was the majority of the American people, they rejected. I'll tell you what they rejected. They rejected the gaslighting. They rejected the untruths, the lies, the hate speech. They rejected the doublespeak. They rejected the globalism. This is what the left was pushing. They rejected the democratic, socialist / communist principles that the Democratic Party was pushing. And you know what they want, and they said over and over again, they want peace, prosperity. Peace, prosperity. They want liberty, and they want justice. And that justice, I want to tell people what justice is. Justice means fair consistency, fairness, consistency in the government, and trust in the government. The only way you're going to get the trust back in the government is they got to go back and all that shit that went down since Hillary and adjudicate that. I'm not saying throw her in jail, but it needs to come out and needs to be done. Say January 6th, need to have a bipartisan review of that, or hearings, but truly due process, bipartisan, not the shit show that they had here. All of these things, and going forward, you need to have justice. Got to be. You should be able to not worry that the IRS is going to come after you because we post something on this internet here, or what happened with us in 2020 and 2021. How many times were we thrown off here because we just mentioned ivermectin? It was unknown. It was
medical misinformation.
Right. What I could tell you right now, 2020, I could have told you, and I told you, and tell me if I'm lying. I said, Jeremy, what you can't talk about now, if you look at the community standards that they had on YouTube, right? You couldn't talk about January 6th, right? Forget about it. Couldn't talk about the election. Forget about it. Couldn't talk about Corona. You guys, with your podcast, you couldn't even say, and you couldn't use the word vaccine. What were you using instead of?
We would use we had a
code name for it.
A made-up name, yeah.
Right, like a bottle of water, whatever. You couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't. So we knew this, and if you said any of those words, your show was banned. They just took it off the air.
We called it the Francine.
The Francine.
Yeah.
In the United States, doctors I could off-label a drug. I could give you, say an aspirin if I think it could treat you for, tuberculosis. I'm being facetious, but we could off-label a drug. They stopped that. And don't forget what happened, too, in this country. Free speech, but also freedom of assembly. The state of New Jersey, where I live, the governor here, like a lot of governors, declared it a state of emergency because of Corona and a state of a medical emergency. And I could not go on the boardwalk in Spring Lake. I couldn't walk on the boardwalk, even with a mask or not. Couldn't even park my car. They wouldn't let us drive. I mean, it was ridiculous. Got to wear a mask in the woods, and don't forget, if you had a loved one in the hospital, you could not go in there and hold their hand while they're dying.
No,
Why?
Why?
So you could wear a friggin' mask and a shield. Who the hell were they to tell me how many people died by themselves? I know a lot of people did. The other thing,
Anthony Fauci.
Right. The other thing is, in this state, how many people were put back in a nursing home and died? Died in a nursing home, right? And I remember because when that was going
and we
on,
had that ship just
right,
offshore that did fuck all.
they had a ship. It was they had a military ship up in New York, and they also had the Javits Center that was ready to accept patients.
What a waste.
Then they hardly used it. Now, was that because of politics?
And meanwhile,
I don't know.
people were dying left and right.
I'll give you one more. When I had patients, when Corona hit in March of 2020, all right, that summer, I was on call to the ER. I would take care of patients. I had quite a few patients going into the winter. This is before the vaccine now, who were COVID positive, and I had to take care of, and I did. All right, and because I remember AIDS, we had to take care of patients with AIDS, and AIDS will kill you. This didn't necessarily kill you. So, Jeremy, now what happens is you had what was called multi-drug sequential monoclonal antibodies, and the hospitals had it was you could buy it, hospital could buy it, pharmacy could buy it, and I would send patients who didn't have a vaccine because the vaccine wasn't even out yet, and even when the vaccine did come out, a lot of people didn't get it in the beginning. I would send these people who I say had an ankle fracture and they were sick. I'd take care of them. Then they got corona, maybe from the hospital, wherever they were. I'd send them down to the hospital again. They had tents set up, and they would transfuse them with the monoclonal antibodies. 12 hours they'd be coming around. It was amazing. Okay, I couldn't give them ivermectin or hydrochloroquine because it was again, they wouldn't let me do it.
How long were they allowed to do that?
Well, how long were they able to do what?
To give out that monoclonal antibody?
Well, they did it until Biden became president.
Greedy.
And what happened with Biden Biden took over the distribution. The Biden administration took over the distribution of monoclonal antibodies, and they defunded it. Now, I want to say defunded it. They give Corona like billions of dollars, but they gave monoclonal funding maybe 20 million. The thing, it was so good that Governor DeSantis was buying up a lot of it and giving it to his people in Florida instead of the vaccine. And the manufacturer was saying you get about 6 months of immunity with the monoclonal antibodies, and it was safe. You could give it to pregnant women. It's been around a long time. So
but you couldn't mention them.
No, we couldn't mention it. Was what brought me up. But also I got on my soapbox because, that's again. I want justice. That's what I'm saying. We voted for. I want all these reforms, but I want justice. I want this governor in this state not to go to jail or whatever. I want a real investigation. He had his own investigation. It was like $5 million. It was one of Barack Obama's law firm. I want a bipartisan, the governor of New York and the governor of New Jersey with all these deaths, these nursing home deaths. And I'd like to see a real investigation. And if there's nothing there, good. But I want to see the abuse.
I hope that so much in my heart. I don't see it happening, but I hope desperately that something like that.
That's what I said. We voted for it. I'm going to make it another report. I voted for, and I know the majority of American people voted for peace. No more wars.
There are
prosperity.
There are deaths on our shores that need to be answered for and investigated into.
Yeah. So peace, prosperity, okay, and justice.
So call this what you like. You can call it COVID-19. You can call it whatever you want. President Trump called it the China virus, and that was an attack from.
Well, that's another whole thing.
No.
That's a good point.
Let me finish it.
That's Fauci. That's Fauci. Ooh, that's another whole thing.
This was an attack from a foreign body, and it was attacked on, amongst other places, our country, where our people were dropping like flies from the bombardment of this virus that was let loose for the only reason that anybody could have fathomed was to minimize population.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
No. But I
was to get Trump out of office, in my opinion.
And I do think, it's just. You lost my train of thought.
No, you're saying about, well, first of all, the with the coronavirus and the investigation with Fauci, they want to go after. Fauci needs to be investigated big time. I read the book, John F. Kennedy's book, the Real Dr. Fauci. I remember Fauci from the AIDS epidemic, and you go back and look at that. And there was a lot of shit that went down there. And he was accused of doing some nasty stuff
and
back
how
in
many
then.
kids afterwards, with all those vaccines, other vaccines he created, how many kids started developing pine tree nut allergies or autism went off the scales?
Right. Now,
you know, I mean, there's a lot of casualties throughout this whole medical.
that's why I'm saying, Jeremy,
thing that need to be investigated.
Right. That's why we could have a whole show, but I want justice.
Yeah.
I want. So that's what's going to come too, because the Trump administration is. That's why you see these people he put in there. Do me a favor, Jeremy. Go to my. I want to show you one other thing here. When people say about what's the big deal about immigration. So here's another article. I just want to throw this out, and we can end it with this. Okay. So this is an article. This is from the Connecticut Insider Investigator. This is by Alex Appel, 24 hours ago. It says Republicans call to end Medicaid for undocumented immigrants. Medicaid, for people who don't know, that's the welfare, healthcare in the states.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's not Medicare; it's Medicaid.
Medicare is for old people. Medicaid is for anybody who's poor. So listen to this:
old people and people on disabilities.
Right,
Medicare,
right.
Yeah.
So Republican legislators want to see a change in Medicaid going forward. So this is in Connecticut. And it says right here,
Medicaid is pretty useless.
Well,
I mean.
No, it's not.
It doesn't cover a lot. The people who have it think it's going to cover more than it
well,
does.
no.
That's the problem.
No. It's all depends how it's funded, Jeremy. But Medicare in certain situations covers a lot.
No,
it covers
aid or care.
No, Medicaid.
Yeah. Okay.
Medicaid covers the deliveries. It depends if it's funded. Some doctors get paid. Medicaid makes deals with them. They get so that's a wrong. I understand.
Right,
Majority doesn't pay me well, but it doesn't.
I think it's more like when you get Medicaid, you feel like it's that full package deal when it's not.
Yeah, but that's not my point. I could care less what it feels like.
I'm
right,
talking
right.
about the
that's
citizens out there.
Right.
Who
I know people who got it and love it. And they get it great. Depends on where it is.
Love it.
Yes. There's some policy they get very well care. Some of it's very well. Everybody's different. It depends on where. So you can't. I don't want to get into that. That's another. But I want to make a point though. It's an insurance. Whether or not it's good or bad, whether or not you like it or not, it's there, and it's costing the taxpayer monies. That's the key. So Connecticut faces a $20 million Medicaid crisis that threatens to drain resources from core government services and programs. A major contributor is tax-funded health care for undocumented immigrants. The release stated, last fiscal year, this program blew past projections by nearly 10 million and is already on track to exceed this year's budget by over 20 million, a figure likely to even higher since summer estimates. Only 12 states and Washington, D.C. offer Medicaid to undocumented children, according to the health care. Now, that's another thing. I want to just stop there. New Jersey has been giving Medicaid to children for a long time. Also, you got to understand, Medicaid is given to
Medicaid for kids. Yeah.
Right. And I tell you what, it's not a bad program in the state of New Jersey. But Jeremy, doesn't matter if it's good or bad. That's not the point. The point is we're giving it to illegal immigrants, and especially the children. Now, that's humane. I understand that. That's why these children got to get out of here, because while they're here, I agree with taking care of their health care.
If you do that, you just name the turkey.
But going back to even with people who have Medicare. Citizens, it only pays 80%. So Medicaid takes the 20%. But let me keep going here. So let me go the states here. So so 12 states, Washington D.C. undocumented children according to the health care policy. Connecticut is one of those states. I'm just going down here. Read, and so basically, it's not across the whole country. You could put me back on. Mm-hmm. But New Jersey, which is 8 million people, California, I don't know what other states, but they do pay for it. Now, think about what they're paying for. Now, Harris talked about paying for illegal immigrants' sex changes. Well, if you're giving illegal immigrants in New Jersey, okay, follow me, New Jersey, okay, Medicaid, one of the programs is United Healthcare. All right, we did a show on this. United Healthcare has United Healthcare, which is an NJ Healthcare. It's a Medicaid program in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They pay for and recognize 15 procedures, 15 procedures for gender-affirming treatment. Now, you got to be over 18, I think. But so I don't know how many have been done. I don't have the records. I'd like to know, and that's where another justice. I want to have a investigation in these past 3 years. How many illegal immigrants in New Jersey got paid by my taxpayer money for sex changes? 0, 10, 20. Think about the incentive too. Think about you're a transgender, and again, I feel bad for these people. You're a transgender living in Mexico or Ecuador. You're going to come up here if you go to. You're going to come to New Jersey. You got to get it free. So again, did I buy into that? Did we vote for that? Did you vote for that?
No. No.
You see where it goes. See how it's gotten so crazy, Jeremy. I could go here. We could spend hours talking about the craziness that went on. I don't know what's in these people's souls. Just like I don't know what this governor, why he put people back into the nursing homes when he could have sent them up to the ships or somewhere else. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe they didn't think it was any big deal.
Maybe
I don't know.
Use the ship at all.
Now, why did you not let people? See, here's the thing. What pisses me off. They had it where you can't go into the hospital. I had patients who were dying. Could not, and not from corona, from other stuff. They had heart issues or whatever.
Yeah, cancer was still going on.
The family, they were all the family had to sit in the car and wave to them on the window. Nurses had to held their hand. Why was that allowed to happen? Now, we bitched about it a little bit when it was happening, and we were shut down.
It a lot.
No, we were shut down. No, I tried to bitch about it.
Yeah, no.
But
that was something that I remember being something really strong
how many
on your
times
mind.
and how many times did we get shut down?
Yeah, we got shut down.
And then we stopped doing it because we were afraid to. Because what they do, the community what YouTube would do, they'd shut you down and say you're off for 24 hours, and if you do it again, you get shut down. Then it's a week, and then it's a month.
Yeah,
and then they knock you off
indefinitely.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you guys got shut down with one of your people.
Oh, what do you call it?
You just stopped using it.
Dr. Schneider was kicked off forever. Like I even stopped using YouTube because we were just constantly kicked off.
Yeah, we're going to end this soon, and that's where too with Trump. When you talk about free speech, right? I understand YouTube is a private entity, and they could say what they want, do what they want, but where does a private entity turn into the community square? And this is something that Trump's going to evaluate, because I'm not so sure that YouTube should be considered a private entity subject to where they could do what they want to do and stop certain speech or they have been legally supposedly throttling free speech.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. Now, again, that's another whole issue. I don't want to get into that. But anyway, Jeremy, listen. So let's end this with this, because it's getting late. I want to get I just want to understand where you're coming from, because you're like the average Joe here. Yeah. When it comes to this immigration, because I think this immigration thing is going to be, this deportation, is going to be a big issue. So what's your position now? Woman who I talked about, who was flown, poor woman, came in here illegally. Maybe she was brought in through the app. Cartels brought her in. She probably paid $5,000. She has seizures in her, some benign tumors. She has a kid who has leukemia, 3 kids. She speaks no English. She has no, nothing. Now she's in Chicago. It's sad, and maybe, and what do you, and you got, and how many, and if there's millions of these like that, what do you do?
Because that's what we really have to think about. There's, if there's one of her, there's 180,000 others that are just like her, that were that are in our country. So do we our instinct as a people is to help, our arms out, right?
Right.
To help.
Right.
But it comes a time when some misfortunate choice was made to create the situation.
Lesser of two evils. Called lesser of two evils.
Lesser of two evils. But now we have to. Now we're going to have to make some harsh decisions, not just for us, but for them. Okay, because if we can't have them here, then there's no place for them here, and that's going to do them harm too, right?
Well, they got to go back to their country.
Yeah, so they're going to have to go back to their country.
Right.
But you know what? I think Donald Trump will make it so that country has to create something at the border to help to triage these people as they come through for whatever ails them. It's their people, after all.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump can make them build a wall and pay for it, he can make them do this. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's it. But and then you show the American people we're not heartless, but unfortunately something has to happen, and sometimes you got to make the harsh decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So anyways,
well, I think it's a good idea. They're gonna. My opinion is this: they got to get out of here. They need to incentivize the countries of origin to take these people back. They also, I have no problem. Instead of spending money to Ukraine, billions and billions, let's send billions and billions down to Mexico to build nice hospitals for these people. Let's have some of our doctors go down there and help. There's a lot of things you could do, but doing what they did, just think about what's going on here. And, and to me, it's very similar to what's going on in Israel.
That would be great.
Jeremy, it's
creating something positive out of a negative thing, which the border crisis has been. You create a bunch of hospitals there. It becomes border health. And the people who are lost in their country can always find their way there to the border where their hospitals will gladly take care of them. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, there's corruption, and that's not. But my point I was going to make, Jeremy, is that it's very similar. So we didn't create this problem. This government, our government, the Biden and Harris administration, put these people in harm's way. A lot of them died in the trip coming up here. A lot of the young kids were sold supposedly into slavery, and a lot of these people are their lives are uprooted, and they are going to be sent back, and that's another disturbance in their life.
A great deal of these people were used as drug mules as
well. But what I'm
to carry fentanyl across that thing.
Right.
These people came here under many different reasons. Yeah, what Mike said earlier about them voluntarily choosing to go home, I mean, that might be a choice for them, or are they going home to become a drug mule again?
Right. But I want to make this bigger point. It's very similar to what's going on in the same argument with Israel. That what's happening right now is Israel's going and prosecuting the war against Hamas, okay, which is the bad guys.
Yeah.
The bad guys of Hamas. All right. Who's getting killed? The Hamas fighters, but also the civilians. You follow that?
Yeah.
And the civilians are getting killed because Hamas is putting them in danger, using them as human shells. It's not Israel. So you could look at it the same way. These people who came to this country, it's not our fault that they're going to get injured or have to be sent back.
No.
The people who are responsible are the Biden and Harris administration. Now, I'm not saying they're as bad as Hamas. Don't get me wrong, but it's the same principle. They put that. Listen, Jeremy.
We're also running under the misapprehension that these people will be leaving peacefully. They may put up a fight.
Oh, they're going to put a legal fight up.
No. These aren't the legal sort of people. All right, they're illegal.
Yeah, some of them will, but they're not going to.
But if so many of these, and we saw the tens of thousands of rapists and murderers, you're telling me they're not going to pick those tens of thousands of people? Yeah,
let me tell you something. You send the military. They're going to be.
No, I'm just saying. That's going to happen too.
No. I'm more. But again, the point I want to make here is that they did this purposely, and they thought, and they it's almost like the same idea of putting people as human shields. They did this for a political reason. Maybe they thought they'd vote. Maybe they thought that it would get lower wages. Maybe the big companies wanted cheap labor. I don't know what the story is, but I can tell you right now, this is what happens. And it's not our. The American public has spoken. And again, I reiterate, they want peace, prosperity, liberty, and justice. And part of that Trump's platform was deportation. So that's where it's going to go. And these states should, capitulate. Anyway, Jeremy, anything else you want to say?
No, I think we had a good show here. It was a little longer. It was about an hour and a half show. I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember, you can watch our show on Facebook, YouTube, you name it, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere. Fine. Podcasts.
You can listen to us on Mars too. We're at Mars.
You can. We broadcast that
to
far.
Mars too. That's our new station.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elon Musk. All right, Jeremy. Say goodbye.
Guys,
we'll see you next
care.
week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.